Scientists around the world have been trying to clone humans for years now. However, they have been unsuccessful so far. But what if someone has already succeeded? Well, that's exactly what we're going to investigate today. In 2002, a scientist claimed he had successfully cloned a human being. He even provided evidence. Yet no one believes him. So did he really do it? And why don't people believe him? Join us as we look into this bizarre case. But before we get started, be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future videos. Before we dive into the topic at hand, let's take a brief look at cloning itself. First of all, it's only plants and some animals that can be cloned. This is done by taking DNA from an adult organism and inserting it into an egg cell whose nucleus has been removed. Once the reconstructed egg begins dividing, the embryo is implanted into the surrogate mother's womb. In theory, this results in a genetic copy of the original organism. There are many ethical concerns surrounding human cloning, which is why many countries, including the United States, have banned the practice. There is also no proof that it has ever been done. However, there are claims that scientists in both Korea and China have produced cloned embryos and may soon announce their findings. So now let's talk about Woo-suk Hwang. On February 24, 2004, Dr. Hwang Woo-suk, a professor of obstetrics and gynecology at Seoul National University, presented his research to the world. He claimed that he had successfully cloned a human being named Suki using a patient's skin cells and a different woman's egg cell. Hwang admitted that his team had been attempting to clone a baby girl for 3 years. They had used 242 eggs and 89 of those attempts were successful. Finally, one of the clones took shape and began to grow. The pregnancy was carried to full term by a 31-year-old woman who gave birth to a healthy baby girl named Suki on December 24, 2002. After hearing this news, the world went wild. Everyone wanted to know how this was even possible. So what did the doctor say? Well, the answer lies in something called therapeutic cloning. This type of cloning is used to produce embryonic stem cells. And like reproductive cloning, the goal of therapeutic cloning is not to create a new organism, but rather to treat disease. Embryonic stem cells are created by taking the nucleus of an unfertilized egg and injecting it into another cell. The resulting embryo is then allowed to develop for several days before being harvested for its stem cells. These cells can then be used to treat various diseases. Hwang said that he and his colleagues took skin cells from a 31-year-old woman who wanted to remain anonymous and inserted them into 242 eggs whose nuclei had been removed. Of those 242 eggs, 89 were successfully cloned. The remaining 153 were either destroyed during the procedure or failed to divide properly. Of the 89 viable cloned embryos, 6 were implanted into the surrogate mother. However, only one of these pregnancies resulted in a live birth. Many people refused to believe Hwang's claims because he hadn't personally conducted the experiment. Instead, he had worked with a colleague who oversaw the process while he focused on stem cell research. Despite this, the South Korean government awarded him $1 million and granted him permission to continue his research. Hwang's research was hailed as a breakthrough in medical science. Many people believed that this discovery would revolutionize the field of medicine. However, things didn't exactly go as planned. In May 2005, Hwang was stripped of his research funding after it was discovered that he had fabricated some of his data. Hwang's research team admitted to altering the dates on some of the stem cell samples, but denied intentionally falsifying their work. Despite this, all of Hwang's research was called into question. Many people began to wonder if any of his findings were actually true. By 2006, it became apparent that Hwang had lied about his research. His team had indeed tampered with the data, but they had also used old stem cell lines instead of newly created ones. Furthermore, the DNA testing results showed that none of the cloned embryos had developed into stem cells. In light of this evidence, Hwang was fired from his university post and stripped of his awards and honors. In addition to losing his reputation, Huang also faced criminal charges. He was accused of misusing 90 billion won, which is approximately 75 million US dollars, that had been donated to his research institute, although he was acquitted of all criminal charges. In 2006, Huang's career was effectively over. He was no longer welcome in the scientific community and his name was mud. Now, here's where things get really interesting. After being found guilty of misconduct, Huang decided to release more information about his research. He claimed that he had actually cloned a second human being named Adam. Adam was supposedly cloned using the same technique as Suki, but he was born with a genetic defect and died shortly after birth. Huang said that he kept this information secret to protect the family's privacy, but once his research was called into question, he felt it was important to come forward. This news shocked the world once again. Many people began to wonder if Huang was telling the truth. Had he really cloned a second human being? And if so, where was Adam's body? Huang never provided any concrete evidence to support his claim. He said that he couldn't release any more information because of confidentiality agreements, but that didn't stop people from speculating. Some people believed that Huang was lying to cover up his previous misconduct. Others thought he might be telling the truth, but that he simply couldn't provide any proof. To this day, no one knows for sure whether or not Adam really exists. Was he created by Huang, or is he just a figment of the disgraced scientist's imagination? As you can see, the story of Suki and Adam is a strange one. If Huang is to be believed, he cloned to human beings. However, he has never provided any concrete evidence to support this claim. It's possible that he is lying, but it's also possible that he is telling the truth. Unfortunately, we may never know for sure. Regardless of whether or not Suki and Adam are real, Huang's actions have had a profound impact on the field of cloning. His misconduct brought a lot of negative attention to the practice, and it will likely be a long time before any other scientist is able to replicate his results. So what do you think? Do you believe that Huang really cloned to human beings? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear your opinion. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. That would really help us out. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future videos. We have a lot of amazing content coming up that we think you'll really enjoy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.